Hello, welcome to Chapter 3 of Intro to Psychology. In this video, I'll be talking about the parts of the nervous system. So in high school or middle school or elementary school, you probably learned about the different systems of the human body. So there's the muscular system, the skeletal system, the digestive system, all these systems that work together to allow humans to do their bodily functions. One of those systems is the nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, and all the nerves in your body that allow you to have control over your body and allow certain aspects of your body to run independently. So in this video, I'll be talking about the different ways that the nervous system is organized and the different levels of functioning within the nervous system. So the first level has two divisions: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of your brain and your spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system consists of all the nerves distributed elsewhere in your body. So the central nervous system is responsible for things like thinking, emotion, language, planning, and organization, all those different abilities that we refer to when we say cognition. And it's also responsible for sending information to and from the peripheral nervous system. For example, an example of receiving information from the peripheral nervous system would be like when you touch a hot object, or when you touch something that causes you pain. Information from the peripheral nervous system goes to your central nervous system and tells you you are experiencing pain in this area of your body. The sensation or the understanding that your body is in pain is really happening inside your central nervous system. It's really happening in your brain, but the information is sent from that area of the body through the peripheral nervous system. One other thing is that the central nervous system is encased in bone. So the brain is covered by your skull, the spinal cord is covered by your spine, whereas for the peripheral nervous system, it's more or less exposed. It's attached directly to your muscles or to your digestive tract or other areas of your body so that they can do their functions. The next area of the nervous system, or the next division, is the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. These are two subdivisions of the peripheral nervous system. So we're talking about outside of your brain and your spinal cord. So the two further divisions, the somatic nervous system is also known as the voluntary nervous system, and it provides a relay of sensory and motor information to and from the central nervous system, as we described previously. So another example is the movement of limbs. So for example, when you stand up and try to take a step, you try to move your leg in order to walk, a command is sent from your central nervous system, from your brain, down to your spinal cord and down into your legs in the peripheral nervous system, so that those muscles can be activated to do that movement. But not all of the functions or the movements, in using that example, that we do are controlled consciously, right? There's some movements that you are able to do. There's some muscles that are active without you necessarily being consciously aware of them. For example, when you are digesting food, maybe you're eating right now. If you're eating, you're probably not actively thinking about the muscles in your stomach and in your digestive tract that are moving the food along. Those muscles operate independently of any thought processes. They operate independently of any input from the brain or the spinal cord. And those are controlled by what is called the autonomic nervous system. So they're involuntary or automatic. And the autonomic nervous system can be further divided into two branches, the parasympathetic branch and the sympathetic branch. So the sympathetic branch, also nicknamed the fight or flight branch of the nervous system, that is activated whenever you are found in a stressful or high arousal situation. So whether it be running away from a dangerous animal or giving a speech in front of 100 people, the sympathetic nervous system helps prepare your body for action in many different ways. It dilates your pupils so that more light can come in, and you can see better and more accurately. It increases your heart rate so that blood gets to your muscles much faster so that they can be energized and ready to go. It also stops any unnecessary processes like digestion. When you're trying to run away from an animal, what you're digesting isn't very important. And it also releases hormones into your bloodstream so that your muscles and every other part of your body can be ready to go and ready for action. And this happens whether it be a physical threat, a real threat, or it be a psychological threat like stress. And when the sympathetic nervous system is overactive, that can lead to problems in many of these areas of the body listed here in this diagram. By contrast, there is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is activated to help calm the body down. It restores homeostasis. It restores balance in the body. So if your heart rate is elevated, the parasympathetic nervous system, after the threat is gone, is activated to calm you down gradually. Like, after you've given a big speech and you feel your heart rate gradually slowing down. That's the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. And so it does many of the opposite actions of the sympathetic nervous system, releasing opposite hormones, constricting your pupils, doing all these opposite kinds of actions to bring you back to a state of balance, a state of homeostasis. So here's a quick quiz on the different parts of the nervous system that we just covered. So what part of the nervous system would be activated when you are resting, when you are running away from a bull, when you are stressed about meeting a tight deadline at work, or when you are controlling a car, when you're controlling a steering wheel and driving a car? Feel free to pause the video here to think about your answer. So for resting or sleeping, that's largely the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system. It's bringing you back down, rest and digest. For running away from a bull, that would likely be the sympathetic nervous system that we're talking about. That a real physical stressor would activate your sympathetic nervous system. And then meeting a stress deadline as well would be the activation of the sympathetic nervous system that we're talking about. That it helps provide a response and prepares your body and your mind for psychological stressors. And then lastly, when you're operating a motor vehicle, we'd be talking about the somatic nervous system. So for the conscious control of your limbs so that you can safely operate the car. You could also argue that the somatic nervous system would be active when you're running away from a bull.